So I talked to you guys about 2-3 hours with no commercial break. See, 4-Ladder, 3-Ladder Network. We'll be right back after these commercials. They be cussing each other. Dang it, you said the wrong report. He's number 38, not 35. You know, all of that stuff. Producers all in their ears and stuff.
And I'm not denigrating any of the outside, and there's nobody else winning. I'm going to go.
You said, hey now, Dallas, let's get this guy some help. What type of reaction? Can you just reset that video that you made and your thoughts after they went and did what you suggested in getting Mozzie Smith in round one?
Well, I was sitting there on Tuesday before the draft in Los Angeles, and it was like 6 o'clock. I'm done all my responsibilities for the day, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the hotel. I don't want to go out. Let me go watch every pass rush of Micah.
I love that about
Let me
you.
just see the good, the bad, and where he needs help. So I text him about 100 pass rushes into it. I'm like, dude, does anybody ever get any push on your defense? Like, it's just you winning on the outside, and there's nobody else winning, like play after play. He goes, just tell me, don't watch all these balls. Just tell me how I can get better. So I tell him what I think that he could do better. And then I'm like, it's just obvious. Like, they've got no interior push. Like, I live in Philly.
Man, let me pause it right quick. Anytime someone is willing to get beat up to get better, quadruple gold stars for me. Quadruple. When you are saying, hey, I want to be the best. I remember Aaron Donald practicing with DeMarcus Ware, right? And I'm sitting there like, man, how come the players at the time on the Cowboys team is not reaching out to DeMarcus Ware? We got all of these resources, all of these benefits right here. You know, you got to seek out and find the best to be the best, y'all. And I love to hear Parsons saying, okay, hey, Brian Baldinger, you know, and it could be cap. I don't know for sure. And I ain't finna say that this man is capping live on TV or radio. But he could have reached out to Parsons and said, hey, man, let me comb through some of these videos to see where you can improve at. And we all know that Parsons can win. He had 90 pressures. 90. Y'all put that into your mindset. 90 pressures. And the next person that was close on his team to the amount of pressures Parsons had was down in the 40s and the 50s. That's bull sugar, right? Come on, man. We need other people, man, to get close to those type of pressure moments. You can't just have one guy with 90 pressures and everybody else in the 40s, right? That's the equivalent to somebody living in the 1940s and somebody living in the 90s. Those are way far from each other, right? So what I'm saying here collectively, that if we can get somebody to give us 80 or 70, man, we ain't trying to tell y'all to get 90 of them, you know, but we need somebody else, man, to push their weight around here, man. We do. And the Cowboys, and I'm not talking about you, D-Law, you my boy. Shout out to the Laws. But we definitely need some help with pressures, getting off of your double teams, beating your man. I can't even say that now without the kids saying, hey. Well, beating your man, pause. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's go.
Philadelphia, I see Javon Hargrave crush the pocket. I watched the Kansas City Chiefs win a Super Bowl. I watched Chris Jones just crush the pocket from the inside. The Cowboys don't have anything like that. And I'm not denigrating any of their players on their team, but that's not what they can do. And I thought that would be the best thing that could help Micah, not just help Micah like pad his stats and get 20 sacks like he's capable of, but it would lead to even more takeaways because the pressure that Mike is putting on him, they should have caught a lot more interceptions than they did.
True.
And so I just thought that was as good as the defense has been, which has been good.
Been good.
They could be better.
Could be better.
A guy like Mozzie could really help out this defense.
Baldy, have you ever met a player like Micah Parsons who has the sort of generational talent that he does, but he feels like a sponge. Like he's always wanting more information to get better. Is that authentic in your experience? And is there anyone like him?
Well, I think, the difference between Micah, honestly, and almost everybody else, it's always the difference, Jane, between being great and being very good. He never seems to tire. He never seems to get fatigued. And he maybe it's his wrestling background, but you can almost never find him on the ground. Like those two things are pretty special about any football player on defense. Like they're not on the ground because you can't make a play on the ground. Even when guys are cutting you and you're trying to get through, the interior of somebody's offensive line, all this stuff. Like the guy stays on his feet and he seems indefatigable. But there's players out there that just want to be great, and I think that's where he's at. Like he's been like that since day one.
No doubt, and that's a great observation from Brian Baldinger. There were guys that's coming out of the draft before Parsons was drafted, of course, who remember Isaiah Simmons, right? He was the Parsons supposed to be before Parsons, but it goes to show you that it also entails that we don't know what Parsons would have been like if he went to the wrong system, right? If he utilized differently, if somebody didn't see what this particular defense coordinator and the team that's around him were able to see, right? I'm not saying that Dan Quinn with Isaiah Simmons, we would have been talking about Isaiah Simmons in a different light. But what I'm saying is collectively is that it all depends on what system and scheme you go to. And I would tell you, Isaiah Simmons, I think that they didn't re-up his fifth-year option. And if he's out there on the street next year, knock on the door, say, hey, I got a cup of coffee for you, bring him on in. And especially the hardest thing that we're going to have to hear from this season is, will Dan Quinn be willing to stay? That's going to be the hardest thing, because what happened here, even when you're building something as beautiful as this is, you will have those who are willing to say, hey, I want that. I want that. I want that. And they'll rip apart the thing that you built. I'm greedy in a sense. There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching.